My name is Ronald Savage. When I was younger, I was molested by Afrika Bambaataa. Afrika Bambaataa is the founding father of hip-hop. He's the co-founder of the Universal Zulu Nation.
Just 1 week after allegations of sexual misconduct surfaced against mega preacher Bishop Eddie L. Long, one of his accusers takes his case to the web in an in-your-face attack. Smokey Fontaine is here with the details. Smokey, glad you're here.
In the glamorous world of celebrities, the stage lights and glittering awards sometimes hide a cruel truth. Not everyone lives up to what the public sees. Plenty of famous black stars, known for their talent and killer charm, have gotten tangled up in messed up gay relationships. From all-night parties, fancy hotels, flashy tours, to the pressure of hiding desires, they've gone through scandals and deep inner breakdowns. And the 21 stories I'm about to tell will lay bare all the truth about them. These famous folks who always put on a perfect image in public, but their gay sex lives are totally chaotic. 21, Eddie Long, powerful pastor, hiding a depraved gay life behind his spiritual leadership glow. Eddie Long was the famous pastor of New Birth Missionary Baptist Church in Georgia. With huge influence in America's religious community, he built an image as a tough spiritual leader, drawing thousands of followers, often showing up in public with hard-hitting sermons and impressive power. But his image started cracking in the 2000s, when behind the pulpit was a messed up, dark gay sex life full of schemes. From 2000 to 2010, Eddie Long slowly turned his pastor role into a tool to control young men lacking family support. The Longfellows Youth Academy was set up like a doorway leading them into his private world. Faraway trips, overnight preaching sessions, spiritually tinged explanations gradually pulled the victims into a spiral of dependence. Eddie Long didn't rush. He approached slowly, using lavish gifts like cars, cash, jewelry, international trips, and even private planes to make them feel truly supported. He made them call him Dad, claimed them as spiritual sons, building a relationship laced with power and twisted emotions. Once the prey trusted him, the abuse started showing up more often, from massages to forced oral sex and deeper acts. The Bible was used as cover, turning abuse into something called spiritual training. Many victims were young and easy to manipulate back then. Names like Maurice Robinson, Anthony Flagg, Jamal Paris, Spencer Legrand, and Santino Kemp fell into that control net one by one. Fear, shame, and financial dependence kept them silent for years. It wasn't until 2010, when the pressure got unbearable, that those five names sued together, exposing a decade-long chain of abuse. In 2011, it ended with an out-of-court settlement for a big, undisclosed amount, leaving a heavy echo in public opinion. Notably, Eddie Long kept showing up in public as a pious pastor until he died in 2017 from cancer. 20. R. Kelly music star turning stage glow into a cover for chaotic gay life. R. Kelly was the R&B singer who dominated charts. Behind tons of smash hits, with deep influence in America's music industry, he built an image as a powerful star, holding fame, money, and the ability to guide young folks' music dreams. But behind those bright lights was a dark stretch from the 1990s to the 2010s. R. Kelly's gay sex life was a twisted spiral where fame became a hunting tool. Teenage boys with singing dreams got pulled into his closed-off world, starting with promises of career help, private recording sessions at the studio, visits to his Chicago home, or long tour days one after another. Everything followed the order R. Kelly set. Victims had to stick to strict rules on daily life, time, and even their bodies. Abuse showed up over and over, even recorded without consent. Those recordings became binding chains, making many afraid to leave or fight back. At times, victims were forced to hook up with others right under his cold watch, turning moral boundaries into worthless junk. One of them was Louis. The guy was just 17, met R. Kelly at a McDonald's. The meeting seemed like a door to opportunity, but quickly turned into the start of abuse from 2006 to 2007. Alex got trapped at 16, pulled deeper into tangled gay relationships with R. Kelly's friends, Years passed in silence, fear and dependence making victims shrink back, carrying unspeakable trauma. It wasn't until the federal trial in 2021 to 2022 in New York that those pieces got exposed. Detailed testimony from 2 male witnesses flipped open how R. Kelly used Starglow to manipulate and control them. In the end, the 30-year prison sentence closed a dark chapter in music history. The price for abusing power. 19. Afrika Bambaataa, hip-hop father hiding twisted gay affairs behind street culture icon. Afrika Bambaataa is seen as one of the founders of global hip-hop culture, creator of Universal Zulu Nation, and symbol of New York's street community movement. He was honored as a guide, connector of street music and a whole generation's rebellious spirit. But behind that image was a darker story. When Afrika Bambaataa's gay sex life slid into a cold, organized chain of abuse. It started at Bronx River Houses, where he lived, and it was a hangout for poor, unprotected teens. His hip-hop community leadership and Zulu Nation role made approaching them easy, creating safety, closeness, then step-by-step control. Compliments on bodies, private gym sessions in his apartment. Being called chosen ones gradually became bait. From vague touches, molesting showed up more often. The vibe changed slowly but never failed. Many victims were forced into sex in closed spaces, where power and fear weighed heavy. At times, Afrika Bambaataa even handed victims to other grown men for money or benefits, while he watched and directed like a coordinator, turning others' bodies into trade tools. In 1980, 15-year-old Ronald Savage started falling into control, but it took 10 years for him to speak out and accuse. The following years, similar charges kept popping up, including Hassan Campbell and others, but all got buried by the huge reputation of an icon. It wasn't until 2016 that charges went public, shocking the hip-hop community, starting to crack the street culture founder's image. The big lawsuit in 2021 dragged on quietly, until 2025, when Afrika Bambaataa lost by default for not showing in court. A heavy end, but fitting for someone using power to exploit unprotected kids. 18. Chris Stokes, Idol manager boss, hiding twisted gay life behind entertainment glow. Chris Stokes was known as the guy behind B2K's success in the Idol wave peak of the early 2000s. As manager and producer, he held life and death power over many young faces' careers, controlling schedules, images, and fragile fame dreams. However, the truth behind that control was a depraved chain, where Chris Stokes' gay sex life crossed every moral line. It started when boys just 11, 12, stepped into entertainment with total trust, but faced a manager turning power into a forcing tool. Shared showers were set up like normal work stuff, but really the opener for weird touches. Molesting showed up over and over, gradually leading to forced gay sex. No threats or intimidation needed, just mentions of stage chances, contract signings, career continuance, and victim silence formed on its own. Control was so subtle every resistance got crushed early, because victims felt ashamed and scared themselves. By 2007, the tight cover on that horrifying truth started coming down. Raz B, real name Demario Thornton, publicly recounted being molested from very young. Through YouTube videos and later interviews, Quindon Tarver was mentioned in talks as another victim, adding to the chain of charges around Chris Stokes. It spread fast, shocking entertainment. Though Chris Stokes kept denying, charges continued in later years, with male witnesses and matching abuse patterns. In the end, it closed with an out-of-court settlement. No public verdict, but left heavy questions on how entertainment power gets abused for personal desires. While kids carry lifelong physical and mental scars. 17. Little Richard rock and roll legend sliding deep into gay shadows after bright stages. Little Richard is a rock and roll monument, paving the way for a whole rebellious music era with hits like Tutti Frutti and Long Tall Sally. He was the icon breaking every mold, from music, performance style to lifestyle, deeply influencing generations of artists after no one expected. After those bright stage lights, Little Richard's private life got sucked into decades-long wildness. From the 1950s to the 1980s, he openly lived a bisexual sex life, calling himself omnisexual, not hiding hooking up with both men and women. His home, hotels in Los Angeles and New York, became spots for group orgy parties, where boundaries blurred in excitement stretching night after night. Little Richard admitted in his autobiography that he actively organized orgies with many male artists and models, seeing it as inevitable after fame. Money was used to hire male prostitutes, leading to frequent gay sex acts. Everything seemed limitless, out of control, like glow and power flung open the door for deepest desires. Then, in the 1970s, another harsh spiral appeared and tightened his life. Cocaine, heroin, and PCP became familiar companions for decades. The mix of long addiction and serious health issues started destroying his body from inside. Chronic heart disease piled on late-stage bone cancer, making sexual function crash fast. Though desires stayed high, the body couldn't respond. Erectile dysfunction got heavier, finally leading to total loss of maintaining erection. Little Richard admitted drugs and illness destroyed all sexual ability, turning once passionate sex life into a long chain of disappointment. His final years were bitter, facing consequences of his uncontrolled past life, when nerves and blood vessels got wrecked beyond repair. In 2020, he passed, closing a life both brilliant and ruined, leaving many dark sides behind the rock and roll legend. 16. Berry Gordy, Motown boss, hiding downfall after legendary music empire. Berry Gordy built the Motown empire, cradle bringing black music straight into America's mainstream. He was behind the birth and success of big names like the Supremes, Marvin Gaye, and the Jackson 5, becoming the top power icon in the music industry for decades. But not everyone knows, during Motown's peak, Berry Gordy's gay sex life ran parallel to the power he held. Discreet bisexual relationships with young male artists under management formed, happening in private spaces like work offices, Detroit or Los Angeles villas. Recording contracts, release chances, and career futures became silent trades, creating dependence. That control wasn't loud but effective. Power in one hand. Young artists with fame thirst easily got sucked into the manipulation spiral. Late-night work sessions, private meetings, promises of advancement made moral lines blur. Motown's closed power structure back then enabled those twisted relationships to exist for years without exposure. Everything stopped from the 1990s, when Berry Gordy started facing severe type 2 diabetes. Long complications quietly attacked blood vessels and nerves, especially the base for sexual function. Over 70, erectile dysfunction showed up clearer, leading to near total impotence. Though using meds, maintaining erection couldn't recover. From holding others' career, life-death. Berry Gordy entered a harsh phase facing his own body's impotence, closing a chaotic gay sex life. 15. Quincy Jones, great producer, hiding chaotic gay life. Quincy Jones is a world music monument in hundreds of blockbuster projects. Behind successes like Michael Jackson or Frank Sinatra, he represents creative power, influence, and rare deep connections in entertainment for decades. But hidden behind that sound creator image was a complicated private life. During exploding music achievements, Quincy Jones had discreet bisexual ties with many famous male artists, forming enclosed recording studios in Los Angeles private villas. Many ties were fleeting, but repeated acts enough for a familiar pattern. His power and admiration opened quick connections with young singers, musicians seeking spots in the industry. Late work nights, long recordings, unmentioned media meetings became essential parts of life. And Quincy Jones's special status created silence around that private life for years. Entering the 1980s, the story shifted. Quincy Jones was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, a disease quietly gnawing his body long-term. Complications gradually appeared, especially severe erectile dysfunction. In autobiography and later interviews, he admitted losing natural erection from age 60. Support meds became mandatory, but effectiveness dropped over time. With alcohol addiction history and overwork intensity, sexual function tied to once wild life gradually faded. Quincy Jones said illness not only wrecked body, but vanished strong sexual interest before. His final years were struggling, facing impotence and long disappointment despite every method to salvage. 14. Bill Cosby, national dad, hiding gay truth behind perfect family image. Bill Cosby was once America's TV icon, stand-up comedian at fame's peak with The Cosby Show. Model family that millions trusted. He built a decades-long career, becoming entertainment's most familiar, powerful, respected face. However, behind that fame curtain was a totally different story. When Bill Cosby's gay sex life existed quietly backstage, tied to harassing young men in entertainment. Film sets, hotels he frequented became spaces where boundaries got pushed far. Many young male actors and crew staff faced tough spots. Couldn't refuse requests when careers tied tight to a name deciding next chances. So control happened in silence and fear. Harassment became routine, but few believed because his image was too perfect to doubt. By the 1990s, an unexpected disease wore down Bill Cosby's private life. He was diagnosed with severe erectile dysfunction from years of unregulated activity. Medical records show impotence clearer. Though desires stayed, stimulant meds were used, but effects temporary, quickly dropping over time. Then age and long sedative use made his body function slump more. The wild sex life fell into deadlock. Top commands, but bottom doesn't listen. By 2018, Bill Cosby got convicted for drugging and sexually assaulting a woman, Andrea Constant. But male victim stories stayed hidden. Maybe male victim silence has reasons, because by 2021, Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturned the prior verdict over procedural issues. 13. Sherman Hemsley, TV star, hiding depraved gay ties behind screen lights. Sherman Hemsley was America's familiar TV face, tied to George Jefferson in The Jeffersons, and later, Amen. His career peaked for decades, bringing fame, money, solid entertainment status, enough for his name to become a screen icon of the time. From the 1970s, Sherman Hemsley's private life started veering totally different. Behind the screen's cranky but funny dad image was a man with discreet, messy bisexual sex life. Relationships with young male actors and backstage staff quietly happened at his Los Angeles apartment, extending to hotel rooms after shoots. Star status made opening easy, controlling situations easy, and demanding silence easy. Entering the 1980s, frequency got thicker. Meetings happened fast, rushed, emotionless, just dependent on familiar desires. It wasn't seeking pleasure anymore, but escaping loneliness, dodging fame pressure daily. Gradually, the double life became a burden, and once vibrant sex life with men and women got slack. From the 1990s, Sherman Hemsley's health plummeted clearly. Cirrhosis after years of alcohol addiction quietly wrecked his body, leading to heavier erectile dysfunction. Times trying to maintain erection became hopeless when support meds had no effect. Pure desires weren't much anymore. He just wanted to prove himself for his ego. But the impotence in his final phase left an unerasable hollowness. 12. Marion Barry, powerful mayor hiding messy gay nights. Marion Barry was Washington, D.C. as power face, 4 times mayor, building deep influence in urban politics. He's remembered as someone rallying voters, constantly controversial, with bold political mark for decades. From 1970, when power bloomed, Marion Barry's private life slid to a darker, messier track. Discreet parties in Washington, D.C. became spots he sought gay satisfaction in shadows, tying sex to power and control. Young male aides, city staff needing backing, gradually got sucked into dependent spiral, where physical closeness was seen as guarantee for loyalty and political support. It spread quietly in government backstage, enough for a heavy undercurrent. It took to the 2000s for that secret picture to fall apart piece by piece. Chronic kidney failure from diabetes and old addiction aftermath wore his body, leading to hormone and blood circulation disorders. Desires stayed. Wild lifestyle kept up, but body betrayed. Erectile dysfunction made every effort to maintain sex life awkward and deadlocked. Stimulants and vacuum pumps used as clinging solutions, but effectiveness low to almost meaningless. Invitations turned burdensome. Calls for intimacy became weights, while power couldn't save a decaying body. In 2014, Marion Barry died from heart disease, closing a 78-year life with political glow mixed dark privacy. Behind successful terms and public forums, his messy gay sex life still mentioned as heavy hidden corner, where power, desires, and benefit trades blended. 11. Jesse Jackson, civil rights activist and conflicted gay life. Jesse Jackson is America's civil rights icon, Rainbow Push Coalition founder, multiple presidential runs. His name ties to large social campaigns, strong speaking, deep political life influence. From 1980, when power and cred peaked, another side in Jesse Jackson's life formed quietly. Inside private offices and discreet hotel rooms on trips, twisted gay relationships gradually appeared. Young male aides in organization, craving advancement, got pulled into desires and control circle. Leadership power became pressure tool. Career future promises used as bait. By late 1990s, tragedy shifted phase. Thyroid disorder started quietly ravaging Jesse Jackson's body. Blood and sexual nerve systems damaged severely, leading to erection drop. From 2000 on, tug between craving and physical exhaustion created heavy, vicious cycle. Though trying meds and thyroid treatment, what's lost couldn't recover. Long political pressure, rising age, non-stop illness wore him down, making sex life deadlocked. Relationships once based on dependence and fear, finally worthless. Couldn't bring satisfaction, but thickened failure tragedy. 10. Clarence Thomas, Supreme Court Justice hiding gay scandals with judicial power. Clarence Thomas is U.S. Supreme Court Justice since 1991, top power in judicial system. Deep influence on historic rulings and U.S. political life. From 1980, while at Equal Employment Opportunity Commission in Washington, D.C., Clarence Thomas's private life had heavy dark sides. In discreet office spaces, superior power used to pressure male subordinates. Gay sex proposals and silent touching created tense atmosphere covering. It only exposed in 1991, when male harassment charges raised in Senate hearing, shadowing his image. But ultimately, no conviction thanks out-of-court deal. By 2000s, he paid for acts, but not in court. Sleeplessness from constant nightmares and long diabetes quietly destroyed circulation and genital nerves, making Clarence Thomas willing but unable. Desires stayed, but sexual ability vanished. So he couldn't continue abusing male staff in shadows anymore. 9. Luther Vandross, secret gay sex life behind legendary voice. Luther Vandross is soul and R&B icon with rare, warm voice, marked by classic hits, conquering charts, deep U.S. music influence. From 1970, as stage lights got brighter, Luther Vandross's private life dove into shadows. Gay man keeping absolute secret. Intimate meetings with male partners only quietly at tour hotels, recording rooms, or New York, then Los Angeles apartments. His partners often backup singers, musicians, close friends in industry, understanding unspoken rules and accepting shadow life. For years, that secrecy kept his public image clean. By late 1990s, severe obesity made Luther Vandross's body crash fast. Weight over 330 pounds. Blood and sexual nerve systems damaged heavy, leading to clearer erectile dysfunction. Dates with partners canceled repeatedly because body wouldn't obey. Disappointment built in silence. In 2005, Luther Vandross died from stroke related to obesity and diabetes, closing a life where stage glow sharply contrasted hidden gay sex life in shadows. 8. Al Sharpton dark backstage of a troubled gay sex life. Al Sharpton is U.S. civil rights leader, organizing massive protests. Presidential run, deep influence in political social life. From 1980s to 2000s, behind stage lights and bold speeches, Al Sharpton's private life covered in dark rumors in industry. He maintained discreet bisexual ties with some male aides and associates, often in private New York offices or hotels on nationwide trips. Leadership status became shielding plate, keeping everything silent long. Only insiders knew. By 2000s, after strong weight loss for health, his body fell into clear decline. Health weakness disrupted sexual function, making ability plummet. Even support meds lost effect with age and nonstop work pressure. It was deadlock phase, when power, secret gay ties, and illness overlapped. Desires but couldn't act, turning Al Sharpton's private life into heavy days, full torment. 7. Magic Johnson, dark corner of trading gay sex life for benefits. Magic Johnson is Los Angeles Lakers basketball legend, NBA icon with 5 championships, illustrious career, model family image praised for decades. From 1980s to 1990s, behind fiery games and arena glow, sports world spread discreet stories about Johnson's private life, totally different from public view. Gay relationships happened quietly, down low style, around some athletes, coaches, acquaintances in entertainment sports. Those satisfactions had mutual consent, and his bed life never boring. Life's turning point was HIV diagnosis in 1991, forcing sudden retirement, becoming AIDS prevention icon activist, changing public perception of the disease. But tragedy didn't stop. By 2010, health fully betrayed once strong body. Wild lifestyle and century disease quietly caused sexual disorder. Though controlling disease, well, natural erection dropped clearly, and after time, support meds no longer effective as before. 6. Donnie McClurkin, secret gay affairs, conflicts and downfall behind gospel glow. Donnie McClurkin is top gospel voice, with best-selling albums, Grammy wins, seen as big influence religious icon in believer community. From 1980s to 2000s, after resounding gospel performances and solemn preaching, backstage had totally different stories. Donnie McClurkin maintained discreet gay ties with male backup singers and choir members, things often quietly in church dressing rooms or hotels on tours. He even approached young males overly, but all hidden tight to keep model pastor image. McClurkin shared his sexuality issues stemmed from abuse by uncle and cousin. Psychological shadow haunted him, setting stage for later mistakes. After, McClurkin publicly admitted past gay desires, but claimed cured by religious faith. He called homosexuality a deviation, making him heavily criticized by LGBTQ+ community, seen as homophobic. Actually then, bodies started betraying the man denying himself. Long stress and diabetes led severe sexual disorder, making ability nearly paralyzed. Desires didn't vanish, but he couldn't do anything in bed anymore. Maybe that's the cure, he said, thanks to religious faith. 5. Cuba Gooding Jr., Oscar star hiding depraved gay corner behind movie glow. Cuba Gooding Jr. is Hollywood actor who hit glory peak with Oscar for Jerry Maguire role, becoming familiar screen face for years, from 2000s to 2020. As glow lingered on red carpets, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s private life slid darker. Bars, nightclubs in New York and Los Angeles became familiar spaces, where booze party nights led out-of-control acts. As exposed later, he often approached young male servers or patrons, using star fame for pressure, then public groping like butt touches, tight hugs, sudden body contacts. Things happened fast, intense, always with silence demands. By 2022, he had to admit forced touching, leading to harassment charges, flood, alongside those scandals. From 2010 AF, Cuba Gooding Jr., as health plummeted, unhealthy lifestyle caused heavy sexual disorder, making maintaining erection nearly gone. Desires stayed high, wild lifestyle unchanged, but body couldn't meet demands anymore. Support meds or tools lost effect gradually. Booze and lawsuit pressure pushed him deeper deadlock spiral, where fame, desires, illness clashed fierce, leaving messy sex life and long downfall to now. 4. Mystikal violent, twisted gay life that's jaw-dropping. Mystikal is rapper, big splash, late 1990s, early 2000s with smash hits, building bold, cocky image in you. Music from 2000s to 2010, behind sizzling music and familiar macho vibe. Mystikal's private life appeared heavy dark sides. New Orleans home and tour hotels mentioned as hookup spots for group sex with coercive nature, per records and stories around serious cases. He used rapper status to lure male staff and young fans, pulling them into gay fun under booze and stimulants. Influence. Things chaotic, out control, with clear forced acts, leaving long sexual violence charges. Result in 2004 and 2017. Mystikal faced prison terms, turning gay sex life into record black mark. 3. Nelly Gay forced times in long slide after rap peak. Nelly is rapper dominating early 2000s charts with smash hits, Building Masculine, Flashy Image, widely promoted straight life. From 2000s to 2010. Behind vibrant tours, Nelly's private life dark color. Per insider leaks, tour bus and hotel rooms became spots for down-low gay ties with women and men, often staff or fans. Star status used as pressure or lure tool, with forced acts and firing threats if refused. Forcing relations in silence. Everything hidden tight just to keep unique straight image with public. But in 2010, health wore down that wildness. Party addiction and non-stop booze made body disobey. Support meds had no effect when only lasting 2-3 minutes. All that hidden until 2017 lawsuit, when Nelly accused of forcing a girl on tour bus. Only then, those gay ties got dragged out, though victims still wouldn't testify from shame. 2. CeeLo Green, artist hiding depraved gay life. CeeLo Green is standout U.S. singer-rapper, marked with hit Forget You and key roles in Goody Mob and Gnarls Barkley. From 2000s to 2010, as fame rose and eccentric artist image built strong. Discreet Atlanta and Los Angeles parties with CeeLo Green mentioned as hotspots for gay sex issues in men. Per info around serious charges, he often used ecstasy to lure, making targets lose control, then forcing gay acts. Those ties happened without consent, leading to 2012 assault lawsuit, though victim later settled out of court. Star image crack clear. 1. Trey Songz R&B star and sex symbol image collapse. Trey Songz is famous R&B singer with albums ready and Trigga. Dominating music 2000-2010. Building seductive, alluring, full charm image. From 2010s to 2020, Trey Songz got sucked into private parties and chaotic hookups in Los Angeles or New York hotels. There, he lured male fans or staff with career help promises. If refused, switched to threats, forcing gay sex. Those acts under heavy booze influence, sometimes with recording to control victims, creating long silence pressure. But just 10 years later, that lifestyle made Trey Songz's health plummet. Party addiction and non-stop fun led severe erectile dysfunction despite young age. He tried therapy, support meds, every measure, but results only few minutes erection. Also then, male victims' charges started leaking, pushing him to brink as physical and mental paid for boundless moral and intensity sex life. Those stories show behind glow and fame. Many black stars' private lives sink in chaos. What do you think about them? Has your view changed from before? Leave comments below to share your thoughts. We want to hear your opinions and open frank. Open talks about hidden corners public rarely sees. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss next videos, where we'll keep digging into little-known truths about celebrity world.